James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Maria?
You said you took everything, but you forgot that videotape we made. I wonder if it's still there.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
It doesn't matter who I am. I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real.
Hello everybody and welcome to Chaos Plays Silent Hill 2! Just a couple of things before we get started. This is probably my favorite video game of all time. I have played it before, although I played it on the console and not the PC. So I will have a general idea of where I'm going, though I'm sure I'll probably get lost anyway. So if you were looking for a blind playthrough, that's not going to be this. I will also be chatting constantly just about everything from the symbolism in the game to fun facts that I know, theories that I've got, stuff I just love, so there will be spoilers. I plan to set the combat to normal, but I'm going to set the puzzles to hard because I love these puzzles and also I'm a masochist. So I'm going to get my settings all ready to go, and I'll see you on the inside.
Mary, could you really be in this town?
Dunno, but I think we're gonna find out. Before we head out the door, I'd love to point out the fact that I adore this opening shot. That the very first time we see James, who is now standing sassily looking at his reflection, is his face in the mirror. Mirrors are a fantastic metaphor because A, it can give the implication that James is not who he's pretending to be. It can also give the implication that that's who James actually is, since the mirror in mythology is known to show the truth even when you want to hide it. So now, James, let's go outside and give everyone our premise, shall we?
In my restless dreams, I see that town, Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said, Mary. My wife's name. It's ridiculous. Couldn't possibly be true. That's what I keep telling myself. A dead person can't write a letter. Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago. So then, why am I looking for her? Our special place. What could she mean? This whole town was our special place. Does she mean the park on the lake? We spent the whole day there. Just the two of us, staring at the water. Could Mary really be there? Is she really alive? Waiting for me?
And there we go. And that is our premise, ladies and gentlemen. We are playing as James Sunderland, whose wife died 3 years ago, and yet he has received a mysterious letter stating that she is indeed alive and she is waiting for him here. And James is a bit of an odd fellow, and from the tone, clearly a little depressed, so I guess he figures he's got nothing to lose. Before we go anywhere, though, I am going to get the map out of the car. I got a map of Silent Hill. And if we look at our map, we'll see that we are right here, and there are 2 routes that we can go, and that James has underlined Rosewater Park, so that is our ultimate destination. Let's see if we can't get there. No worries about missing this map, by the way, if you're playing. If you try to leave the area without getting it, James will notify you and say, oh, I should go back to the car. I've left my map there. Now let's have a quick look as to why we can't go via car, because that would make sense, wouldn't it? Let's see what James has to say about the grating. The obvious blockage in the road. Not gonna comment? There we go. I can't go any further by car. Guess I'll have to walk. One of the fun things about James the character, by the way, is that he just doesn't really care. He'll do a lot of bizarre things that you wouldn't expect. Before we take off, I would like to point out that this line that originally said welcome now says we come. which could be a double entendre because this game is absolutely known for its sexual imagery, or it could be a taunt that there's something not really right with the town. Either way, let's move out. Found the only path available, the path around Toluca Lake. Whee! Oh, that worked like a charm. As we head along this path, because it is a bit of a long one, I gotta say that this game is an amazing game, but it is an old game. So if you put this on your PC, and if you got your hands on one for cheap, congratulations, because I managed to score this one for about $40. Most other places had it 100 or more. Flip that camera. But because it is so old, it does need to be modded a bit if you're going to put it on your computer. Installing it isn't difficult at all. It should just go. But it runs differently. For example, it was created in a time where computers only had one core processor, so it runs via one core processor. Except the computer will try to make it play with all of your cores. And the game will have stuttering issues, it will hiccup, it might crash. Not because there's anything wrong with it, it's just not able to deal with it. Before we head on, let's check out this well. What do you have to say about this well, James? There's something in the well. What's that? Looking at this makes me feel like somebody's groping around inside my skull. Gives me a weird feeling. This is our save point, and before we go into it, I would like to point out that that little square, there's been some debate about it. When we go into the file, you'll see that it looks kind of like medical folders, so some people say that maybe it's medical slips stating how sick Mary was and so on. But from here, it looks kind of about the same size as a piece of paper you might write a letter on, so some people theorize it might be Mary's letter. Saving! Saved. Alright then. As for why it's soaked red, well, we'll just have to see about that. Camera, could you cooperate with me? Thank you. The shots in this game are very cinematic, very pretty, and this fog looks fantastic. But the camera doesn't like to work with you sometimes, which is fine. But let's head on in here. To... camera. Thank you. No. To a cemetery just up ahead. I'll tell you another fun fact about this after we meet our next character.
Excuse me,
I'm sorry. I
No,
was
it's
just...
okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
Lost?
Yeah. I'm looking for Silent Hill. Is this the right way?
Yeah. It's hard to see with this fog, but there's only the one road. You can't miss it.
Thanks.
But
Yes?
I think you'd better stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it. It's kind of hard to explain, but
Is it dangerous?
maybe. And it's not just the fog either.
Okay,
It's...
I got it. I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
No, I believe you. It's just... I guess I really don't care if it's dangerous or not. I'm going to town either way.
But why?
I'm looking for someone.
Who is it?
Someone very important to me. I'd do anything if I could be with her again.
Me too. I'm looking for my mama. I mean my mother. It's been so long since I've seen her. I thought my father and brother were here, but I can't find them either. I'm sorry. It's not your problem.
I hope you find them.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, now, a few interesting things. This woman that we just talked to, her name is Angela, and if I am somehow wrong about that I will laugh about that later. But you notice how her talking is a little bit weird. Well, everyone's talking is a little weird, but I'll get to that in a moment. She looks to be probably early 30s, but she talks kind of like a kid. And that is because, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, Angela is 15. Yeah, she's 15. You know that old saying that the terrible events in someone's life can age a person? Yeah, we'll find out about that later. But another interesting thing, if people will have noted, the dialogue in here is a little bit weird. It's not awful, but it's a little funny, isn't it? People are delivering their lines a little over the top, a little hokey. That's because the Silent Hill games, especially the first one, are supposed to be reminiscent of old horror movies. It's supposed to feel kind of like this is something that you found. An old horror movie that has actors who you just don't know. Maybe something kind of found footage. So the actors, if I'm not mistaken, were actually instructed to read their lines in a little bit of a novice manner. It's actually kind of cool. And now we're going to leave. For future reference, because I know the first time that I came here, I could not find this gate. I actually did wander around for several minutes, growing increasingly frustrated that I could not locate it. All you need to do is walk straight back from where you and Angela are talking, and it is to the right of the church, right in the back. Before we go any further, though, I actually forgot, we should take a peek at our inventory, shouldn't we? There's nothing really in it right now, but as you can see in the upper left corner, we can check our status by the shade of healthy green that is on that screen right there. And what is in our inventory currently is a photo of Mary, if we want to look at her, and a letter from Mary, which is one that was read before. Now, you can look at these. If you activate them, you'll get used, and it'll pop that up big so you can look at Mary. We can kind of see it from here, and I'm not going to zoom in. Because if you look at these two items, if you look at them often or during key moments in the game, you will change your ending, and I know what ending I am going for, and I would like to not alter it. So I'm not going to look at them. Now, James, let's head on once I get the camera to not hate us. There we go. Now, if you noticed before, there were some interesting noises in the background. Oh, like that one. Gives the implication that something's following us, although if we went to look for it, we wouldn't find anything. Ooh, and it stops dead when we stop walking. As though it wants us to confuse it with our own footsteps. But they're really not our footsteps, are they? Let's see. We have arrived at the Silent Hill Ranch, which we can't go inside. Which is too bad, because I would love to see some demonic monstrous pussy. Ooh. Yeah. Love that noise. Ah, so good. It's like a crunchy, squishy kind of sound. Like it might be someone walking through leaves or walking through something else. Like mud or refuse. This is Silent Hill, so it's probably refuse. Probably body parts. This is a bit of a long trek. You can run the whole thing. You slow down periodically because, as you can see, if you run for a good stretch of time, James will start panting once you're done. It's kind of adorable. I think this right here is the power plant. Or the sewage plant, maybe. I think that that's a little farther down. No creepy footsteps, I don't want to play with you. Yeah, seems that only way inside now is through this condemned part of the, I suppose, a bridge, or whatever kind of plant this was. But James is a brave man, or a foolish man, or just a man who has run out of fucks to give. He will go inside without any protest.
Hey everyone, it's Chaos Child. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, why not leave a like or a comment? Or subscribe to me for even more videos. Thanks again!